heading into hour number 2.5, 1.5. I don't know. What are we talking about? What hour is this? Anyway, we're back with more pawns and
2020.
A whole number of our compatriots have already passed away beyond the veil of death, thanks to these terrible, twisted villagers. But our survivors will soldier on. We are no longer being hosted over on the AnyKey channel, but I know that we are all still supporting AnyKey today and the Games and Online Harassment Hotline, so you'll probably continue to see the chat messages popping up from time to time, and also if you type !charity, you can find out more about AnyKey, the Games and Online Harassment Hotline, and also a link to possibly donate to these wonderful causes that we are supporting today. So, huge thank you to AnyKey for hosting us for the first hour and a half of their show. And shall we continue with some Dungeon Crawl classics?
Yes, please.
Indeed.
Then, I think there's only one remaining Twisted Villager in this current combat, and we've looped back around to Neil, who, unfortunately, Kai has passed away thanks to a spear through his gut.
That is unfortunate.
It's okay. He was my least favorite of my three people.
Actually,
I'm sort of comfortable with him being the one who died.
Was it
Freshly dead, sir.
Was it your least favorite of your, how many total though?
3. My least favorite of my 3. I didn't really
No,
have
but
a
you
good
had
personality.
4 as well before, right?
Oh yeah, this is definitely my least favorite of the 7. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really have a good idea for Kai, except, put him in the front line, let him die early. But Sky is important. I care deeply about Sky. I connect with him on a personal level, I've seen the surfer bros going down by the beach my whole life, and I empathize with them. So Sky will take his turn, coming up behind this twisted villager, whipping out his short sword, and attempting to plunge it through the calf of this beast before me.
Oh, damn! Motivated by Kai's death. Pretty sure that's a killing blow. Yep, absolutely. You eviscerate this twisted villager, sealing the deal.
Dunatush turns to you immediately and is like, "We did it!" and puts up a hand as if she had anything to do.
She high fives Dinatush. He high fives Dinatush, perhaps too hard, treating her like an adult. Whap!
She likes it.
All right, I'm moving fallen villagers out to the outside. Fantastic. Then, threats extinguished, Frualt scribbling furiously while sitting on one of the steps of the spiral staircase room. What do the remaining 9 of you do? 10, I think, right?
Whoa, guys, that was kind of dangerous.
Fran looks at him like...
Grola Bless shows up, the last one, and he's like, Alright, where are they?
Dude, you missed him. You gotta go faster next time. She takes a drink, Babs.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
though she did not
totally
arrive
will.
either.
I totally will. And Red Riz just filled with shame and just glances at him the face
Sky.
of disappointment.
Sky will take the trail rations and the lantern off of Kai's body, gently close his eyes, and turn his cloak out over on top of Kai's body.
Dunatush is gonna sidle up to Babs, feeling victorious and like she contributed much, and being like, "Can I have a victory drink?"
Are you... Yeah.
Stretch tries to look for his dart because it's his lucky dart.
Yes, you managed to recover your dart from the eyeball.
Nice, lucky
Can
dart.
I recover my arrows?
Yeah.
I didn't roll for how many I had. Should it still be 1d3?
Yes.
Okay.
How many did you get?
I got 3.
Nice.
Stretch kind of mumbles about how he should have brought his other 2 darts that he has left back at home. He's kind of
We
upset.
have way more darts at home.
Yeah, I should have. I have so many more darts.
So, looking around us, where does it seem we should proceed next?
We gotta like go into the dungeons, man. You know, like we checked out the wall. It seems pretty cool. Maybe we should like search the area. Is there like a bridge that crosses the portcullis?
Actually, this hallway is intact and leads over and across the portcullis. You can see that there's like a winch mechanism in here. I believe that down below was the was it Hagatha or Grandneil that got killed by the portcullis?
Oh.
Hagatha.
Yeah,
She was my favorite.
The winch mechanism was clearly released by a quick release sort of lever, dropping it down on Hagatha. But you could raise the portcullis from here. The room across is empty, and the wall over here is actually quite damaged. So like the hallway here sort of is like parts of stone are crumbled in, and then eventually it's just completely destroyed.
Well, little Jimmy, ever curious, will scurry across and peer into this region.
Mm-hmm.
And search the
Validate the
room.
emptiness.
Nothing here.
Nothing here. There's like an old like leg of meat that someone has been gnawing on. It looks like partially cured, but maybe only because it's old.
Cured by time instead of like smoke and salt.
Yep.
That doesn't sound very delicious.
There might have been a little smoke involved, but like it wasn't particularly suitable for human consumption.
It's not a frog leg, right?
No, I think it's much more like elf.
Okay.
Good job, Denatouche. You really like bash the hell out of him.
You too, Jimmy. You're really cool. Denatouche runs back in the other room.
God, she's weird.
Agnes is gonna. This was like a collapsed area before. She's a little suspicious of the portcullis and like how things are fallen. She's a chest maker also, so she's gonna be just kind of like checking the suitability of the bridge very slowly.
Yeah, so like, I don't think she knows much about like stonework, but from her experience making chests, she knows about woodwork, so she can examine like the framing for the gear mechanism for the portcullis, for example. It's well made. The wood was like well oiled and maintained for many years because it's inside of this, stone walkway space that is roofed and enclosed from the elements. It's generally held up and weathered time very well. There's a couple like small murder holes on the floor where you could probably like set up big funnels and pour boiling oil to defend the keep from assault, that sort of thing. But that's all.
Everything seems to be in order here, except for all the death and curses.
It is certainly clear that like the portcullis dropping on Hagatha was an intentional thing and not simply the mechanism breaking at an inopportune time.
Okay, and the floor is not giving any sense of falling away beneath us too?
No, the keep is quite old and the other portions of the wall are destroyed and crumbling, but here it's quite stable, sturdy.
Yeah, she's gonna keep tentatively exploring this room and taking a look at whatever these things are in the north.
Yeah, your party examines the area fairly thoroughly and establishes that, there's nothing particularly of interest here. It was a location for the Twisted Villagers to stash a couple of guard folk to watch out for anybody approaching the keep and to use the portcullis as a method of defense.
I don't see anything in this room, Agnes says.
Well, I guess it's dungeon time. Sorry. Sorry, Babs.
Babs is just standing in the doorway, like in the way. And she's just kind of trying vaguely to follow what's going on, but clearly not contributing anything, just kind of like generally following the movement of everybody else.
Nice.
Redress starts like tapping her staff onto like random things like walls, and she's looking for a skull, but I don't think, does she see anything?
There's nothing here that looks like a skull. All of the structure here is just Again, so you might remember from when you were approaching the keep that the walls looked like they were composed not of like smooth carved stone blocks, but of like huge ancient pulled up chunks of stone, many of which have like runes all over them. They look like ancient stone menhirs and like henges and stuff like that. So from the inside also, you're seeing that these walls are not wrought stone. They're just big chunks of stone sort of stacked on top of each other. And like a couple of them have runes that make you feel a little bit queasy when you look at them, but nothing looks like a skull. There's no like images of skulls. There are no actual skulls. Yeah.
I'm not sure what we're looking for here, folk.
Agnes and Redra seem to have the same method of like using their long walking sticks to like just poke at everything. So
I think
Agnes sort of gravitated towards Redra.
Yeah, Redra seeing that, she's like, she gives her a look that's like, oh, you know what you're doing. We got this. And then we're like synchronized poking. And then like
Stress everything.
Yeah, it's very well synchronized. Stretch looking at that wonders if he should be doing the same thing, so he takes his lucky dart, who's like this big, and he's like...
Dunitush is gonna crawl up and like try and look out at some of the windows and get us. There's nothing like approaching. We don't have any sort of giants or monsters on the horizon now.
Nope. You know, the keep here is relatively out of the way. It's like some ancient defense line from, I think, like 2 kingdoms ago or something like that. And it's not really on any main roads anymore. So that's why it has fallen into such disrepair.
Dunitush says that, oh, bored, there's nothing in here. Let's go. She's also drunk.
Yeah, Redrick goes back onto the bridge and looks in the distance. I guess we see the well. Do we see anything in particular?
Yeah, you're looking into the courtyard?
Yeah.
I think from up here, from like looking out into the courtyard from over on top of this bridge area, you see the well, you see the mist, you see the landslide, you see the stone that's like sort of sticking up out of the grass in the middle of the yard. There's 2 things that you can see from up here that you couldn't see from down where you were before. One is that the landslide up in the northwest corner up here, the way that some of the stones are fallen, it looks like there's actually like a gap or a crevasse buried under some of the rubble. From up here, you can see that the rubble is sort of piled quite loosely and might shift fairly suddenly if someone were to apply their weight, but it looks like there might even be like some space underneath there, some foundations of the keep or something like that. 2 is that you can actually see a little bit down into this chamber here over along the eastern wall. Let me tell you a little bit of what you can see. Yeah. There's so like the walls, you know, go 3/4 of the way up and then have collapsed inside, and there's no roof on this building, which is why you can see down inside over the walls from your current vantage point. You see that the inside of this space, there's like fallen beams and like crumbled rock and stuff like that. And all of it is horribly burned. It looks like some terrible fire just sort of scoured the inside. You see 1 or 2 like blackened, charred skeletons that are still inside there. And also your eye is drawn to a fountain. Let's see. Yeah,
Can you ping on the map where that is?
Yeah, it's sort of like directly up against the eastern wall.
Okay.
Center everybody's vision on it by doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a fountain there that looks like it's like this squat, frown-faced toad and it's got like blackish water dribbling out of its mouth.
Oh wow.
Ugh.
Down in that burnt out space.
Okay, so I point to those things. I kind of ask, oh, what was the name of my new best friend? What's your name, bestie? Let me see.
Agnes?
Yeah, Agnes. Agnes, come over here. And then I point over to the landslide, and then I'm like, but wait, there's more. And then I point over to the eastern wall and the fountain. And then I look on the other side. Do we see anything from here? Do we see the grave of Froge Dudet?
Aw.
Yes, looking in the other direction, you see the hallowed grave of the most noble Froge Dudet, and also Neil and Goteviev, who are both grazing peacefully, standing directly on top of the grave of Froge.
Okay. I do think Strage would probably end up going through that bridge, and then he just stares quietly. Well, not that quietly, actually. He puts his paw on his little frog art, and then he hums the song.
It's beautiful.
I won't do it all again, but, you know,
I wish.
he hums all the way, the whole song.
And you said there's a toad fountain?
Yeah, so that building that's over on the eastern wall that has that big brass door with the blood red word repent written across it, like the roof is completely burned off and has crumbled in, and inside of there, everything inside is very burned, and you see that there's this fountain pressed up against the eastern wall that's like a squat toad that with like blackish liquid, like water pouring out of its mouth.
Well, when Dunatush heard Redra call Agnes over, she also just invited herself over to see anything exciting. And she's like, oh, Mr. Strage, there's a fountain of you, Mr. Strage. Over there, there's a fountain. It's you. It's you.
A fountain to the Froge Dudets of this world? He looks over. Did he ever hear of such a fountain? Like a toad fountain? Or are toads really different from frogs? Are they, like, am I unaware?
So you are a frog, which means an anthropomorphic frog, in the style of perhaps Over the Garden Wall.
Mm-hmm.
And like the carving here looks like an actual literal toad. Like it's quite large. It's, you know, the size of a man, but it's an actual toad, not an anthropomorphic toad.
Okay, so it's more
I'm
like
sorry if my call out was offensive.
so it's like an ancestor or something?
As a jester, I don't think you know more about like the relationship between toads and frog people. But you know, like I think much in the way that humans regard apes.
Yeah.
Probably frog people regard toads and frogs and people of that sort. Like, oh, these are, you know, who we evolved from or coterminously evolved, you know, to our current points. Like, oh, these are great creatures that we love and respect.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm like, oh, noble creature. What a great idea of a fountain carving. This is wonderful.
Obviously, yeah, someone must have really cared because
Yes.
there's, you know, a lot of artistry and effort and, you know, the weight of the stone and the craftsmanship of the frog, the craft dwarfship. Yep.
I would see that as a good omen. Disregard the black water. just look at the artistry.
Really, it just looks like brackish water that's been left too long.
Oh,
and has,
okay.
like, algae growing in it.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Oh, a delicious snack even.
Whoa.
All right. Well, I guess Strange Dudet thinks it's a good idea for us to go check out the fountain, but other people may have other ideas.
I think that sounds fun. Let's go. A fountain is like, yeah. And she takes a drink and starts like meandering toward where she thinks they're supposed to go.
Follow along, comrades. For Froge.
Nice.
The fountain.
So you're heading down to this burnt out ruin, right?
Yeah, I want to go to the eastern wall ruin.
Yeah, go ahead and move your characters to where you'd like them to be outside of that building.
Sorry, I'll just bring the others. I think Agnes
so-
and Red Ray would be out there. Growl a little bit late. Oh no, I lost Steven!
Steven, come back.
Yeah, okay, got Steven.
Good. Yeah, so all that remains of this burnt building are fire-scarred high stone walls and toad-faced gargoyles leering down from above. The singed bronze doors, cast with hundreds of wailing demonic faces, are barred from the outside with a heavy block of oak. The portal across the front is marked with a single word drawn in flaking red paint: repent.
I repent.
Dunitush is like, repeat what? She can kind of read.
Repeat? Did I misread it?
Yeah,
I think it said repent.
repents.
Repent.
I mean, what's the definition of repent?
Repent is
I
like
only have the one pair of pants.
it's like apologize for your wrongness.
Ah, okay, sorry. My yeah, then I guess Tresh goes forward and then says, I am very truly sorry that I wasn't there in time for my good favorite cousin, Frosh Jude. It is my biggest regret and sin. I repent. And then I pick the gold piece and I look if there's like a place to put it in.
Fantastic.
Sounds like these people had like a lot of guilt, you know?
And then Frosh, I don't know, tries to... He thinks that the door will like magically open if he repents properly.
That's a very reasonable hope. Nothing happens.
He digs deeper into his soul trying to remember something else he messed up.
Little Jimmy will try to open the door.
What is little Jimmy doing to try to open the door?
Turning the knob and pushing and then pulling.
Okay,
If
so
pushing
you
doesn't
turn the
work.
knob on the big like brass doorknob to this door, and you push, and the door doesn't budge, and then you pull, and the door doesn't budge, but it does like pull against this big, heavy, wooden like beam that is like in the locks of the door.
Been braced with a thing.
Yes.
Someone got something
outside.
long and hard and pointy and sharp? A sword?
Oh, Red steps forward with her staff.
No. He shakes his head at her.
Red is like, huh. who
Anyone
are
got a
you?
sword? Crowbar? Long and pointy? Rapier? Anybody?
I have a Fran shows she has a staff, but it's
He
not
shakes
pointy.
her head at her as well.
Who picked up my pitchfork? Wasn't it you?
Beverly
One of
used
your
to have a
characters, Jen, picked up Farmer Lucky. Someone picked
No.
up Lucky Joe's pitchfork.
Didn't someone have a sword? A fancy sword?
Yeah, does it feel safe enough for Agnes to go inside and collect the sword from Beverly's corpse? She's like, I'll get it.
If nobody picked up that pitchfork, then I'm retconning that I picked it up. I thought that
Yeah,
somebody
pick
else
it up.
did.
All right. Agnes returns with Beverly's sword and hands it over to Stretch or to little Jimmy.
No. I need you to slide it between the doors and then push up and try and knock the beam out of place.
Now the
then
beam,
little-
of course,
Agnes looks at
is on
you.
the
She
outside
looks
of
at the
the door.
sword and she hands it.
Tresh
it's on-
takes a couple steps back.
Neil, the beam is on the outside of the doors. You could just lift it with your hand.
I lift the beam.
The beam comes free.
I must have missed the little bit of lore that the door was locked with the beam on the outside.
Yeah, the door is locked from the outside. Yes.
Oh, hold on. Never mind. Okay, if it's locked from the outside and it says repent, let's get ready. Because if they lock something in there, then then it's probably something bad. And if we're gonna open it, then like bad things might come out. So we should like be ready.
Well, I mean, haven't we seen what's inside? What, like,
You couldn't see the entirety of the inside space because the walls are high enough. You could really only see sort of the far half of the room. So like, on the far half, there were like some burnt and charred, like destroyed, crushed skeletons. There's like tons of just like burnt destruction.
Okay.
And then sort of close to the line of your sight, there was that frog fountain.
Okay, then Stretch says, "Oh, I believe the repention already happened, my friend. There are all these burned corpses in there and the beautiful toad fountain. I wouldn't feel anything whatsoever."
Then go open the door.
I open the door.
All right.
Sky and Jimmy are standing far away.
Did that work? Yeah. Okay. You can see inside now, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so what you see in here is there are 6 charred skeletons lying about this room, which now that you've opened the door and are glancing around, looks kind of like a chapel. Like there are a number of wooden pews that have been burnt or crushed or destroyed. Some of these skeletons have been crushed by burnt, fallen beams. So again, the room in here is open to the sky because the ceiling has collapsed from the fire. Immediately across from you at the head of the chapel is a fountain depicting a squat, angry-looking toad. Now that you're closer, you can see that a foul black ichor seeps from the toad's broad lips, pooling in the basin seated at the foot of the fountain. And inscribed around the base of the fountain is a strange collection of letters. They read a word that if you were to try to pronounce it would probably sound something like Bobugbubills.
Bobugbubills?
So Stretch goes, obviously, Bobugbubills.
Bobugbubills. Yep.
Bobugbubills.
Was he a friend of yours? DNA Touch is like looking around.
That sounds like the name of one of my long lost cousins or ancestors.
Whoa.
Bobugbubills do they?
Yeah, Bobugbubills do they?
Traditional name, but still.
Yes. They used to come up with much longer names. With time, we kind of shortened it.
Now, Stretch, as you're peering into the room, and especially as you're looking at this statue of Bobugbubills, 2 things strike your attention now that you're a little closer and the doors are open. One, the stench of charred flesh lingers in the air, along with the sour scent of freshly burnt incense.
Oh.
2, as soon as you glance from this closer position at the statue of Bobugbubills, you can see that he has red gemstone eyes and jeweled fangs perch within his loathsome maw. So all told, there are 2 eyes and 10 fangs, for a total of 12 semi-precious stones set to the statue.
Okay, so I tell people, beware the mighty statue of Toad Bobugbubills.
Whoa!
So I approach it while like bowing, and midway into the room, I stop and I do the position of the frog.
This is the position of the froge. Amazing.
Which kind of mirrors the statue, and I think it looked upset, so I probably also do an upset face. So I'm like, and then I do bring along my golden piece, and I'd like to put it on top of the head of Bobugbubills.
What is it that you put on top of the head of Bobugbubills?
The 1 gold piece.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
I pay my respects.
as you approach, you see a couple of things. First of all, there's a couple of items scattered around the temple and the skeletons. There's a golden censer that's hanging at the end of a large bronze chain that's like blackened and scorched from the heat. It looks fairly ornate. It's like a religious incense censer, and it looks fairly fancy. Like it would probably be worth something if you sold it. Half buried in the rubble off to the right is a blackened iron coffer that is locked. And it looks like exactly the sort of thing that like a religious organization would use for like its alms or, storing something valuable. 3 of the skeletons are wearing chainmail hauberks, scorched and blackened, of course, but still actually fairly serviceable. And those same 3 skeletons each have blackened maces, and one of them has a flail. Now, as soon as you step in to the room and approach a little further, you can feel like the heat of the fire, and you almost like hear the crackling of cinders in the air, but like a quick cursory glance around reveals that like there's no active fire. Like
Yeah.
the destruction here happened decades ago. So this is a very strange experience.
Yeah, I make sense of it by thinking that it's because these people paid no respects to Baba Booble.
Bugaboo Bills?
Yeah, Baba Boobles. No respects to Frog. No respect to the Dudes. Unacceptable.
Excellent.
I think no more of this.
You said you were placing a gold coin on top of Bugaboo Bill's head.
Yes.
So as you step closer, you feel the heat increase, and you can tell that like while the rest of the heat in here is like almost a sense memory of heat, there is actual genuine heat emanating from the fountain. And as you tap the gold coin on the head of the Bugaboo Bill's statue, the black ichor dripping from its mouth sort of bubbles, and in the pool around its base, like a tendril rises of black ichor, rising up and then like tapping Bugaboo Bills on top of the head where the gold coin is, which sticks to this pseudopod, and then the pseudopod descends back down into the pool until the gold coin just gets subsumed under the black tar.
I look into my pockets for more donations.
Yeah. As you take a moment and start looking for more donations, like one pseudopod plop slaps up onto the edge of the lip of the fountain, and then a second one slaps plop up onto the lip of the fountain, and a third one sort of like stretches up and forms a little pseudopod eyeball and looks at you, and it looks angry.
I hand over a little. I push over a little copper coin.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, I do have some copper. I'm not lying. I just look.
So you like pull out a copper piece and like hold it out.
Yeah, like that. Like, when you're trying to like feed a squirrel or something, you don't really want to touch them, but you want them to feel like it's for them.
So this ooze, like this pseudopod, sort of rises up from the body of ooze, and it's much larger than the eye. It's much larger than these 2 pseudopods that it's put on the edge of the fountain, and it like sucks more ooze substance up into it and winds itself back quite far. What do?
I slowly back away.
As you
to give it some room.
This pseudopod lashes out in your direction, slapping down in front of you, and then the rest of this black ichor liquid, it missed you with this attack, obviously. The rest of this black ichor liquid bubbles up and out of the pit. I repent! And forms itself into an actual ooze, which slimes its way over the walls of this pit. Would all of you kindly roll for initiative?
You need 2 shits screaming.
Bug Booble. Sorry, that's the chat saying that.
Bug Buble.
Yeah, it's the famous singer-songwriter.
Famous Dudet singer.
Yeah, Babak Buble.
Holy shit, little Jimmy.
Love Bug Buble's Christmas album.
Babagoo Blade Dudet. Right?
Yeah. Babak Buble today. Okay, noted. Initiative. Oh! Good job, Fresh Today! Stretch Today! Stretch Today has so many 20s! Do you realize how many 20s Stretch has rolled?
He's truly blessed. The scion of House
Impressive.
Dudet. All right, little Jimmy and Neil's characters get the first action here. What do you do?
Little Jimmy will notch and loose an arrow in the direction of the tar ooze.
Fantastic. Wow, 21 to hit. Your
Whoa.
arrow sinks directly into the tar ooze, dealing damage, and also immediately catching on fire as it touches the surface of this ooze.
Whoa.
It sinks deeper into the tar and just burns up.
Does that mean the tar then catches fire because it's flammable?
I mean, like, we remember that Stretch sort of sensed this heat emanating from the fountain. I think that you're seeing that actually this tar ooze is incredibly hot. Hot enough to light an arrow on fire.
Sky will move forward. And I think he'll move a little bit more closely. Oh, I can't click on Sky anymore. There we go. Okay. And that will be his action movement.
Okay. You could move twice if you want.
Yeah, he did have to move once and a half, but he didn't want to get closer than that.
Okay. Stretch and Jen's characters. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, Redra is always so courageous, so she glances over at Agnes and she's like, "We got this!" And then she takes out her staff and runs forwards 30 feet.
As Redra runs forward, Agnes is like, "You certainly do."
And can Redra do something with her staff from here, or is that too far?
You're asking if you can attack with your staff? No, that's
Yeah.
10 full feet. Far too far.
Could she throw it?
I think that would be incredibly awkward, unfortunately.
Okay. Then I guess she pulls her staff out and she's like, "Aha!"
Brandishing, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Stretch, however, realizes that the tar is probably the one that should repent for spoiling the beautiful toad statue.
Yeah, like Stretch recognizes this thing is nothing related to Clan Dudet, nor
No.
an avatar of Bubil's.
Yeah,
It's interloper.
it's not the famous singer-songwriter from Baba Buble, so we must take this down. But you know, he's a ranged character, so he's gonna be a slightly smart and take a little step back before sending him his dart. So I guess he'll something. Would I be able to shoot from here? Something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Mhm.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Okay, and I'm at 25 feet, so I guess I'm not in disadvantage this time.
Yeah, let me see. I think at 25 feet, so your dart has a range of 20 feet. So
Oh, well, then I'll do 20, yeah, no problem.
yeah. At 25, you'd be at a -2 to your roll, but at 20, you get no penalty at all. You're just...
Yeah, so Stretch to take a couple steps back and takes his favorite lucky dart and says, "This one is for you, Buble, today." And I'm gonna roll, I guess.
Totally.
Totally?
Totally.
Oh my god!
Oh, damn! Stretch!
Stretch is so good!
Gee.
Stretch
Stretch-
is amazing.
Stretch is paying
Amazing.
back for
Now-
the story of Frosh.
Unfortunately, you can tell, Stretch, that the piercing damage of your dart is not as effective against this ooze as you might have wished. But it does do something.
Mhm.
Fantastic. All
And,
right.
like, I max damage too. Like,
Yep.
Stretch.
Stretch will be winning the day.
Yeah.
You've still got Growlblast.
Yeah, growl. Oof. Go, Steven. Got this.
Are you trying to send Steven in to do your dirty work?
Yeah, well, we'll see how far. Yeah, Steven can get there
You
actually.
can make it all the way, yeah.
Oh, but I don't want Steven
So
to
you have to
die.
roll. And unfortunately, because these dogs are not combat trained,
Yeah.
it's a DC 15 animal handling to order them to go attack. So roll a d20.
So I did D20.
Oh shit! Steven attacks.
Steven!
Get it?
Get him, Steven! So Steven jumps for the ooze with all of his might.
Yep. It's 1d20. You hit.
God, holy hell,
It's
these
1d4.
rolls.
Dang.
Steven deals
Steven
it.
grabs onto one of the tendrils of the thing, just like, and it just pulls off. Like black ooze just sprays everywhere as Steven savages this tar ooze.
Yeah, good boy.
Is that it
Good
for
dog.
you, Jen?
You know, Grohl will go like behind his mom,
Okay.
and he's like, "You guys got oh no! There's no more room to enter this room. The path is once again blocked. This is
Oh,
really
no.
unfortunate." And he takes out his hammer, iron skillet. Yeah, his iron skillet.
Fantastic. All right, Done Touche and the rest of Rachel's characters.
Dine Touche is just feeling so brave. The sun's out. It doesn't feel like a bad thing could happen today. Stress your days, like nailing it. It's her time. It's her time to step up, step forward, and she's gonna throw her dagger at the Tarus.
Nice.
And that unfortunately is not going to work. So we're just going to /R.
It's 1d20.
20 plus 3 for the range on that one.
Wow, really? Done Touche has a plus 3? Dang, look at that. 21. Dude, Done Touche.
She is psyched, dude. She's in that drunk flow, man. Like, 12-year-old.
Roll 1d4 for damage.
Oh my god!
Damn, those rolls.
The piercing
Dang.
effect of this dagger is not as effective as it might otherwise be, but you still sink your dagger into the flesh of this tar ooze. What does Agnes do?
Well, she is drawn over by the cries of, Agnes, I hit it! Agnes, I hit it! Come look what I did! Look what I did! And Agnes is like, okay. And she's just gonna stand there.
Okay, fantastic. Then it looks like we are on to Anna with Fran the horse lady.
Is it like, I mean, with the buildup by the door, how easy is it even to
You
participate?
can move through your allies.
Okay.
Yep.
I am scared to send the dogs into, but I mean, if Steven is already in, then Rachel and Anna might want to help protect too. So
They protect
Fran-
by attack.
Fran is not like yelling at them to attack. She's going, well, do you want to join? Or so it's just a d20, right? For each of them?
Yes. And it's a
Oops.
50 plus. Will successfully send them to attack.
Not that one. Okay. Again, Rachel's like, "Meow," and Anna's like, and runs.
Fantastic.
So d20 to hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
Oh.
No.
I think Anna just sort of like jumps over the tar ooze, missing it entirely and landing on the edge of Bugaboo Bill's mountain.
Okay. Then Fran, with her, I mean, she really doesn't want to touch this stuff, so she's gonna use the staff this time. She's gonna follow in after Anna. She has to be in melee anyway for the staff, but at least it's more long and pokey.
Oh, 12 to hit and 3 damage. Fantastic. Now, the heavy, blunt force of the staff just smacks whack straight into the side of this tar ooze. One, your staff catches on fire quickly, but you're able to pull it back and like beat it out very rapidly. 2, the tar ooze completely discorporates, loses all sense of integrity, and deflates onto the ground in a spreading black inky stain as it dies.
Fran pats both dogs on the head and says, "Good dogs."
Including Steven?
Yeah.
Oh, Steven's really happy.
Rachel's chasing her tail outside the room.
I did good.
Awesome. Yeah. So once again, there's a couple of interesting things in here now that you've slain this creature. So there's that golden censer hanging above the fountain from like a broken beam up above on a long bronze chain. There's this blackened iron coffin under the rubble on the southern wall. And then those 3 chainmail hauberks and 3 blackened maces and 1 flail.
Stretch immediately sees everybody's eyes glistening and says, "I do not believe we should be looting our religious areas, especially the ones dedicated to frogs, toads, or other amphibians."
Bab's like, "Yeah, it's super messed up. Jeez."
Unitush recovers her dagger and then goes to look for other daggers because she is the dagger master now.
Yeah.
Fran ignores everyone protesting and looks for loot.
Stretch gets his dart back again.
Fran, are you more interested in the gemstones set into the statue of Bugaboo Bills, who is no longer glooping black goo from his mouth? Or are you more interested in like the armors and weapons around the room? Or are you more interested in this locked like cask? Or the golden censer?
First attention is to weapons.
Okay.
She's interested in all of those things, but she wants to make sure that she's well armed first.
Yeah, sure. So you can easily scoop up either a mace or a flail, or both. Remember, of course, that you can carry a number of unique items equal to your strength score. And
Fran is overloaded then.
Oh, shit.
Well, I guess I'm not carrying dogs.
No, you're not carrying the dogs. If you tried to carry the dogs, then you would be over your score.
Why do I have... I'm sure... I remember there being a weird explanation for this, but one of my equipment items is bicep.
I think that is Silver Circlet with Skulls from Minotaur Bicep.
Ah, there you go. Thank you.
Or maybe you just actually have one really buff bicep that you're carrying with you.
I have one bicep.
I got these guns.
Yes, you got that like torque from the Minotaur that you fought in the chamber.
Right. You said a mace or a flail. Where can I look up what the stats on those are? I
was
forget.
just about to pop up that sheet. Show 2 players, table 3 weapons. So a mace looks like it's 1d6. A flail is also 1d6. So the same, only difference is kind of flavor, right?
Mm-hmm. I think she's gonna go with. She likes bludgeoning things, so she's gonna pick up the mace and she's gonna throw her staff to the side. She doesn't want that anymore. It's gross now.
Okay. It has been severely burned.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Are there other weapons?
Yes, there are 2 more maces and 1 flail.
And they're all doing the same damage?
Yep.
I would love if she can get there quickly enough. No, never mind. I'm not gonna do that.
So I think Red Rare has a really good weapon. The staff is good, but she's gonna pick up her weapon for her son.
Okay.
So Gralaba's gonna get. What is he gonna get?
A mace or a flail.
Or a flail.
Okay, cool. Flail has been taken.
So 1d5, 6.
1d6.
Okay, so it's better than what he had. So she just says nothing and like does a little and hands him over a flail, like walking by him.
What
Now,
about
Sky,
armor?
you are able to find one of these chainmails is suitable and will fit you.
Ooh.
You can wear it. It will increase your
Ooh.
armor class by +5.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
There are 2 more for those of you.
Oh, Grolobus gets excited. He's like, oh, I don't care about weapons, but anything to protect me sounds wonderful. So he like ducks for it.
Now, armor applies a penalty to checks. This armor gives you a penalty of -5, and it also reduces your speed by -5. It also increases your fumble die to a D12. But
I'll take it.
Oh, Grolobless is all about that. He's like, I'll be slower, so I'll get it less. I'll have a armor, so I'll get it less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it? It's chainmail? Armor?
Yes. So this is a chainmail, and its AC is +5. Its check is -5, and that check penalty applies to checks to climb, jump, balance, swim, move silently, and other such physical activities.
Wait. So I'm adding chainmail AC 5.
Mhm.
Check. You said
-5.
-5. Speed.
-5.
-5. Fumble die.
D12.
D12. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
The cost for purchasing chainmail is 150 gold.
Damn.
Now this is very old and very burned chainmail, but I mean we're talking this could sell for an appreciable amount. So as far as I'm aware, 2 people are wearing chainmail now.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more.
If there's
there's
one
one
more, Dune Touche wants to like slither up into it and wear it like a big t-shirt.
Awesome. So go ahead and write all the information on your sheet.
What does that check apply to?
It's like physical activities: climb, jump, swim,
Okay.
move silently, like stuff like that.
But not combat rules.
No, it's like anything where like you're trying to do something where the weight of the armor would hinder you.
Got it.
That check applies. I think it also applies to like spell casting checks for wizards, but we don't have any wizards yet, so we'll have to figure that out when we get to it.
Splendid.
Yes. Cleric spell checks, incidentally, are not affected negatively by armor. Cool. And we took up 2 maces and 1 flail. There's 1 mace left. Nobody has to take it. Again, there's this censer hanging from a ceiling. Looks kind of holy. Might be dangerous. And there's this locked chest.
Fran's gonna turn her attention to that now.
Okay. Yep. It's a blackened iron box with a sturdy lock on the front.
Can I try to break it?
Totally. Give me a strength check.
She's not very strong.
Yeah, so that's a success actually. You rolled under your strength
nice.
score.
Great.
And so you quickly break the lock off the front of this box. And what you find inside are 3 cones of incense wrapped in sanctified cloth, stitched with golden symbols. And the symbols are the same as those adorning the skulls on the bicep torque that you got from the Minotaur. They're like this circle with 8 arrows pointing out of it.
Do treasure items count the same as items? Like I'd have to throw something away to carry this?
No, I think that the way that it works is like small items like that can all be in a bag. So
Okay.
You have a bag that carries like, these 3 cones of incense.
Okay. So like the silver circlet, is it also in like my treasure bag, or just the incense itself is one item? Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay. I'll pick those up and put them away, but I will actually show them to Strej and be like, do these mean anything to you?
Strej.
Do they?
don't. But
Do
Yeah.
they?
Do they?
Do they though?
So as soon as the 2 of you look at these, it's obvious that these are cones of incense that are intended to be inserted into the censer and then burned to make, aromatic smoke.
Oh, then I take it and I go to that.
I let Strej take 1. I keep the other 2 incenses.
Okay.
Poke at the sensor. Is there a way to lower it?
So like it's draped over this mostly burned beam. If you like yanked on it pretty seriously, probably the part of the bean that's burned would just crumble and you'd get the sensor for free.
But if it's draped over it, the other end must be attached to something?
Yeah, you can follow it around and like try to like.
Yeah, can I like lower it from the?
I think it's like spiked into the wall.
By rope or chain?
Chain.
I will send little Jimmy to shimmy up the chain. No, that's a terrible idea. I leave it be. I guess we'll just leave it as is. The incense is the most valuable part anyway. Seems like we've got that.
What about the stones, the gemstones? Babs is ogling those and trying to pry one out to keep.
Cool. Yeah,
is
like
there anything in the fountain, by the way?
there's nothing like in the fountain except for one gold coin, which someone must have tossed in there as like a wish sometime long ago. Looks slightly melted. But these gemstones, as soon as you like sort of worm a knife's edge in next to them, they pop out quite quickly.
No! Stretch goes.
Let me see. So there are 12 semi-precious stones, and altogether, the 12 of them are probably worth about 150 gold coins.
Nice.
That's a lot
So
of booze.
just mark down 12 frog fountain gems.
Yeah.
150 GP.
Shame. Shame! I take the incense and I go like that. Shame on you.
Babs is like, yeah, shame. Glug, glug, glug.
Tush, learning from her elders, snatches the gold piece out of the bottom of the fountain, since things are up for grabs here.
Nice.
Yeah, Tush is rich as hell, by the way.
With that, a cursory glance around the room reveals that there's nothing else in here. You've examined all of the necessary examinings and acquired all of the necessary acquirings, except for the sensor, which you've wisely decided to leave in place. And I think it's an excellent time for us to take our second break of the day.
Okie dokie.